Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News, where we bring you the latest developments shaking the global currency landscape. As of June 30, 2025, the financial world is buzzing again, and this time it's not just theory or internet chatter. We're talking about what could become a life-altering shift for millions. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering the currency you tucked away years ago now has the power to change your financial future. For holders of the Iraqi dinar, that moment may be closer than ever. Today's discussion centers around an idea once dismissed as fantasy, turning pennies to millions. But now, with significant reforms inside Iraq and accelerating economic independence, that dream is beginning to feel more like a pending reality. Over the past several months, Iraq has made serious moves to restructure its economy. One of the most discussed possibilities right now is the long-awaited revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. If this happens, we could see the dinar shift from its current rate, roughly 1,300 per USD, to a potential 1-to-1 exchange, instantly increasing the value of currency held by investors around the world. This isn't just about rising numbers on a chart. Behind the headlines is a story of transformation. Iraq has implemented its white paper reform agenda to reduce import dependency, improve domestic productivity, and strengthen fiscal policy. With new oil and gas projects moving ahead faster than expected, the nation is seizing more control over its future. This progress is creating the foundation for a monetary overhaul that could surprise even seasoned economists. And with millions of investors already holding dinar, many are watching this space with intense anticipation. But let's unpack what a revaluation would actually mean. This isn't simply a case of printing new money. If Iraq officially moves to a 1-to-1 exchange rate, a 25,000 IQD note could become $25,000 USD. That's why people are paying close attention. Some currency platforms are already noting irregular movements, with quiet discussions suggesting unofficial exchange rates dropping from 1,300 to 722 dinar per dollar, and whispers of parity even surfacing. These aren't just online rumors. Behind closed doors, real conversations are taking place among bankers, government advisors, and foreign financial players. It's common practice for countries to test their systems before announcing official policy. And many observers believe that's exactly what Iraq might be doing now, quietly preparing for a public shift. The result? A sudden spike in interest, as new buyers rush to acquire dinar before the window potentially closes. Financial experts now point to Iraq's careful buildup, boosting central bank reserves, increasing energy self-sufficiency, and shifting toward a stable economic framework as the key drivers behind this possible currency event. As Iraq reduces reliance on electricity imports and expands its energy capabilities, it simultaneously builds the strength needed for its currency to stand taller on the global stage. Central bank policies are also evolving to accommodate changes in foreign exchange strategy. The timing, many say, couldn't be more aligned. With economic momentum growing and the global spotlight intensifying, we may be standing at the edge of something historic. One crucial aspect of Iraq's monetary reform involves the potential deletion of zeros, a move that would simplify everyday transactions without changing the underlying value of people's holdings. For example, a 25,000 dinar note could be exchanged for a 25 dinar note after revaluation, still retaining the same worth. This strategy has been used by other nations to rebuild public trust and streamline their economies. Reports indicate Iraq is considering introducing new currency notes, alongside a limited-time exchange period, possibly 30 to 60 days, during which holders must turn in old bills, miss the deadline, and the currency could become invalid. While this creates urgency for holders, it's also a signal that the Iraqi government is preparing to modernize its entire financial structure. However, exchanging dinars, especially outside Iraq, could be far more complicated than most expect. Other countries may impose strict regulations on how much currency can be exchanged and may not honor older notes after the switch. That could spark a mad rush, with people flooding into neighboring countries or booking last-minute flights to secure exchanges. In such a scenario, airports might overflow and currency counters could become overwhelmed. Documentation could also become a challenge. Exchange centers might start asking tough questions. Where was the currency obtained? Why such a large amount? It's clear that if the RV becomes real, it will require more than luck. It will demand careful planning, awareness of regulations, and perfect timing. And beyond the logistics, there's the emotional and social impact to consider. Imagine waking up to find out the bills you've been holding are now worth a small fortune. Some people may feel joy, others could panic. That kind of sudden wealth can trigger spending sprees, unpredictable behavior, and community-wide shifts. Local markets could see price hikes overnight as demand surges and shopkeepers try to adapt. While exciting, these changes could also create economic turbulence. That's why Iraq's leadership must play an active role, issuing clear guidance, outlining official procedures, and managing the transition so that the economy remains stable and the public stays informed. Interestingly, we're now seeing a spike in bond market activity, a reliable signal that global investors are preparing for a possible change. Meetings that used to happen infrequently are now increasing in speed and urgency. Investors follow future expectations, and rising interest in Iraq's debt products suggests confidence in the country's financial future. If Iraq's dinar strengthens, it could reduce the cost of borrowing and position the nation more competitively on the world stage. Behind closed doors, central bankers and finance leaders aren't sitting idle. When that many major players move in unison, something big is likely approaching. Of course, not all the noise is reliable. The RV conversation has long attracted opportunists who spread misinformation for profit. From influencers pushing unrealistic rates to fake insider leaks, the environment is full of traps. That's why it's vital to verify everything with official channels. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is, unless it's confirmed by a government source, licensed financial institution, or regulated entity. And always be wary of hype-based marketing disguised as financial insight. Some skeptics argue that a dinar revaluation is still unlikely. They point to Iraq's past instability and lingering debt. But that argument is losing weight. Iraq's economic indicators are pointing upward, oil exports are becoming more consistent, and international interest is rising. Countries across Europe and Asia are beginning to engage Iraq more seriously, exploring new energy partnerships and trade deals. Slowly, but surely, the image of Iraq is shifting. From a war-torn past to a country that could become a financial example for others. If the RV does occur, the ripple effect could be massive. Purchasing power in Iraq would rise, salaries might go further, imported products would become more affordable, but without proper management, inflation could also spike. This means the government will need to act quickly, adjusting prices, upgrading banking systems, and preparing infrastructure to meet demand. Every part of society would be impacted, from local shops to global trade routes. But if done correctly, a revaluation could lift millions out of poverty and set a new economic standard. For currency holders worldwide, now is the time to prepare, not react. Store your notes securely, monitor updates from verified sources. Know where and how you plan to exchange, and never fall for shortcuts. Opportunities like this don't come often, and when they do, they reward those who are calm, informed, and ready. Thanks for watching Iraqi Dinar News. Stay alert, stay prepared, and we'll be here to guide you through every step of this journey.